right now. Brought to you by Ford, built for Texas, built for you. Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Kevin, and all three. It's three of you, isn't it?
That is right.
Corey and Mike.
Corey and Mike, and boy, it's good to start this thing off. Good to be on with you, and let's have another great week here. A week from, I guess, today, we'll be teeing it up against Tampa, and won't that be a thrill?
So I wanted to know, and I want to talk more about that, of course, but when you saw that episode of Hard Knocks and you saw that amazing drone opening, what did you think of that, and is there any chance you were flying that drone?
No, I'm not even going to attempt to think how many of those things I'd crash if I tried to fly them. But I love them. They've, I used to think, in a James Bond movie, they do cameras and boy, you get to drive along, but you get to see the car coming around the bend. You get to see what your car looks like from being shot out on a boat. It just lets you see all the vistas of how you're moving along or life. Well, drones allow you to do that too, and of course it really did serve showing the star in a unique way, and I love the shots.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, Jerry, a lot of people will say that you have the greatest show in all of sports. Some fans show up for specifically just the football. A lot of fans show up for the entertainment, and basically you've almost made it customizable to be a Cowboys fan. You can kind of pick and choose what you want the most. But I'm kind of curious, from the guy that has the big picture idea, what is it that you want Cowboys fans to experience or get out of being a Cowboys fan?
Well, I want to be everywhere we can be with Cowboys. If you were in an architectural magazine or if you were in an art magazine or wherever, I'd like for something to be noted or some subject, a part of the Cowboys to be noted in that magazine. That doesn't mean that everybody in those disciplines are going to be fans of the Cowboys, but they know at least we're there and interested. And when Thanksgiving comes and they're eating that Thanksgiving turkey, they look up there and say, well, I remember that team being noted in my house communications, and man, I'm just going to be interested in that team. It's a way of creating interest, and I do want that. But make no mistake about it, I came into sports as I'm situated today with the Cowboys with one reason and one reason only, and that was to get to compete at this level and get to compete to win. And I know that sometimes you emphasize an aspect, and it means that you're not as apt or you're not as intense in another. I remember him talking about Michael Irvin, and Michael Irvin's one of the most talented players I've ever been around. But because he was such a warhorse, he was so competitive, and he just willed it, and he willed men around him, then all of a sudden it took a little off of his perception as a talented football player. Well, he's a Hall of Fame talented football player too, but one overshadowed it. And I know that we've got this this reality that we haven't won a Super Bowl and haven't appeared to be as competitive over the last 25 years. But apart from that, I want us to be competitive, and I want us to be a winning team, and maybe this is our year to get that done.
With all that in mind, that's interesting, that comparison to or talking about Michael Irvin. Does it irritate you, or quite frankly, does it piss you off when people say that the Cowboys are more interested in the rest of that and being in the architectural magazines and showing off the star than winning?
Yeah, no, it does not. The fact that they're talking about me being more interested means I'm getting the job done. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
If that is a discussion, that in of itself means that you're in the front or out front, and so to me that's what it's all about. The old adage, Just keep them talking about you. Now, there's certain things you don't want to be in a part of that conversation, certain subject matter, but very few, really. The facts are that we ask for that attention, we ask for that interest, and that makes it, that, to me, that's kind of sticking yourself out there. That makes you even more intense to do what's expected of you, and that's to go out and do everything in your power to win a football game. A lot is made of the Cowboys' value, and a lot is made of a lot of the business around the Cowboys. I think anybody that really knows me knows that I would trade a lot of that substantive talk for a first down, or trade it for a win, or trade it for a division championship. I think most that are around me all the time would tell you that's the case.
So, Jerry, I want to talk about Sunday's game, and Trevor Lawrence is going to play, and I'm excited to watch the defense against Trevor Lawrence and excited as a football fan to watch Trevor Lawrence. I was wondering, you've been around for a long time. You had Troy Aikman. You've seen the scouting reports on Peyton Manning. There's a lot of scouts that say Trevor Lawrence is the real deal. He's the next. Is that what you guys saw in him too? I know that you guys didn't have the first pick or looking for a quarterback, but is he that special of a talent that you're facing Sunday?
Yes. If I've seen one that you could put in those same kinds of level of talent, what he accomplished, his skill set, yes, I think he's in that conversation. But boy, of late we've seen several of these quarterbacks that it seems as though they can hit the ground running, and at a more accomplished way early in the seasons than it used to be. You remember we had some pretty bumpy years there early with Troy. Not Troy's fault, but we just were trying to build something around him there. And, of course, these guys, if they've got something around them, man, they can perform early. But I don't think there's any question that Lawrence is, when you say the real deal, he's a quarterback that should, if he's available, and that's injury we're talking about, if he's available, he should have a great career.
Well, and Jerry, speaking of quarterbacks hitting the ground running, and maybe it was unintentionally with Dak, but he absolutely did, and obviously we're happy to see him running around here during camp and during practice, but how much of this season, in your mind, depends on the health of Dak Prescott?
Well, but most teams that have been fortunate enough to get a quarterback of if you will, as accomplished. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, as accomplished as Dak is, or some of these other quarterbacks. Most of those teams really drop off when they don't have them, and that's a fact. And so if you said, well, that means a lot of the season, of course, it has to do when. We lost Aikman at varying times during his career, and were able to make do until we could get him back in there on several occasions, and consequently got those Super Bowls with him leading us. And really that's one of the things when I think of Tony Romo. You've heard me say it's right there. Maybe my most disappointing thing about the Cowboys for me is not winning a Super Bowl or being in one with Tony Romo. And we just weren't able, when we didn't have him, we just weren't able to really compensate for that. And that had something to do with him, I think, not being on a Super Bowl team.
I'm really glad that you brought Tony Romo up, because we were having a discussion about the number of future Hall of Fame quarterbacks that are in the NFL at any particular season. Do you look back at the career of Tony Romo and view him as a Hall of Famer, and could you view Dak making the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think there's no question in my mind that Tony is at a skilled level, and had accomplishments statistically that were there. The fact that we did not have a Super Bowl during that time is going to always be in the conversation as to where Tony Romo will rank. Not rank, but just where he's acknowledged. And you're talking to a guy that he'd be a first-round ballot with me.
Right.
And I don't apologize for that.
The defense, Jerry, for this team, there's a lot of young players. There's some free agents that y'all added to this, but last year it was tough. It was tough to watch. I know that you had a lot of moments last year where you were like, what's going on with this defense? Are you more excited based on what you're seeing so far from your young players here?
Yeah, the answer is yes to all the questions, and any more you might want to ask. I'm excited about our defense. We have so dramatically changed our defense, in not only from how we're going to try to execute it, but also the people we're going to execute it with. Goes all the way down through the coaching, almost with exception of the head coach. And I'm anxious to see if you can make that much change with very talented players. And these players are every bit what we had hoped for when we either drafted them or brought them in here in free agency. And they're playing together better than I could have hoped for as our camp has gone along here. With that in mind, I'm really curious. I don't know and don't remember this much change that I know of in the NFL. And so it's going to be real interesting to see how this relates to winning the football games with the defense impacting that the way that it really will have to for us to win the game.
Jerry, as we prepare for Sunday and talk about the game today for Cowboy fans and for us, if you were to say, hey, there's 3 guys or so that you should watch on Sunday, kind of because they're in a situation, if they play well, they got a chance to make the 53. If they don't have a good chance to make the 53. Who would you tell the Cowboy fans to kind of watch on Sunday?
Well, I'm going to say that I'm going to just take the entire young, our first-year guys. And I'm going to stop right there. We've done real well with our free agents. And I think those free agents have exceeded our expectations. And so I'm going to be curious to see these draft picks, maybe a couple of free agents that we had last year. And I'm deliberately not mentioning names.
Right.
Because I don't want to narrow it down like that and create a official on the bubble. But we've got some players that I think that to see them play an extended period of time out here Sunday is going to be eye-opening. I think it will be because they have had the camp behind them. They've gotten better, unquestionably. Every one of them have gotten better. They're playing through, in some cases, nicks and bumps, which is what you want to see in a player that you're trying to evaluate. All of those things are going to be on the plate for these younger players out there this coming Sunday, and very, very critical to our decisions that we'll make principally Monday.
Well, we just saw Zeke playing cornerback in the walkthrough a few minutes ago. Is that why y'all went through and restructured his contract so he could play multiple positions?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If somebody asks, is he physical enough to play cornerback, which is often asked of a cornerback, they can do some cover well, but do they come up and meet the contact, meet the ball carrier? You don't have to worry about that with 21. He'll be up there to meet them if they turn that corner.
Did you think Zeke's season, I know a lot of things were at play, but did you think for Zeke's standards last season was subpar for him, and what are y'all expecting from him this season and going forward?
Yeah, we had so much at play last season. And again, you can tell I'm going to be not hard in my comment because we got so compromised in our offensive line, and And then it became pretty obvious that without Dak in there, that it was not going to be a balanced thing. And so I think we got loaded up on in the running game after we lost Dak Prescott. And so all of that, plus how compromised we were over on the offensive ball, plus, very candidly, those offense has to complement each other. Well, when you're not stopping them on defense, then that puts some more undue or unwinnable pressure over on offense. So when you look at everything, it's unfair to put that real hammer on Zeke that he had a subpar year. He had a subpar year, all right, but it wasn't necessarily because he was as subpar as some might express.
So, Jerry, we were having a huge debate up here before we went on the show. We're here at the Star, and I'm a big fan of Frito pie, and I'm about to go downstairs and get a Frito pie. What are your thoughts on Frito pie?
Let me tell you this. For my senior trip out of high school, my best friend, he was playing in the All-Star game in Arkansas, and I was too. So we dreamed in our spring to take a trip around just the Southwest United States, Texas, and go down through. So we took off hitchhiking. You could hitchhike then. And all we ate was Fritos and 7-Ups. And we ate them all across Texas, hitchhiking from Arkansas all the way over to New Mexico, and then we came back down through Port Arthur and El Paso, and then came on back around by New Orleans. Never stayed in a hotel, slept in parks, and didn't do too much changing clothes either. And we just hitchhiked and did nothing but look at stuff, and just out and looked at the buildings and looked at the ground. And that was our senior trip, just two of us hitchhiking across the Southwest.
Wow.
Fond memories of Fritos then.
Incredible.
So do you like Fritos because of that, or are you like, I had enough Fritos?
What made me think of that, of course, was the Frito question. And no, I'll tell you what, you'd think, I agree with you, that you'd have had enough of them if that's all you did. But one reason we were eating them is because we liked them. But
wow.
We were all on a budget, let me put it like that. I think I forgot to tell you, we had about $15 a piece. So we weren't really we just had this dream that we wanted to take off hitchhiking.
Absolutely incredible. Love that. Love talking with you every Friday morning right here on the home of the Dallas Cowboys. We're looking forward to the game on Sunday, and we'll catch up with you again next week, good sir.
Great, guys. Well, it's exciting. I'm excited about being with you this season, and hopefully we've got a lot of fun, era-up things to talk about with the Cowboys.